Today on Deep Dive, we're going to be looking at Marvel Comics' Journey into Mystery number 90. Can Thor save Earth from the Zartans? Let's flip some pages and find out. Hello everyone, my name is Devin, also known as DH Artist, and welcome back to my Deep Dive series. In celebration of my recent milestone for reaching 200 subscribers, I thought I'd present something special to mark the occasion. But before we can dive into today's issue, we'll have to remove it from its plastic case. This will be the first comic I've featured on my channel that has been professionally graded. Now, CGC, or Certified Guarantee Company, is the world's leading third-party grading service for comic books. Their grades range on a scale of 0.5 all the way up to 10. The official grade for this issue was 1, and they listed the page quality as slightly brittle. Some of the other notes from this grade is that the spine is completely split, and there is heavy creasing, stress, and wear to the cover. Now, plenty of collectors like to get their comics graded, and of course purchase graded comics. In fact, it's nice to know what you're getting. I just prefer to keep mine bagged and boarded so that I can have easy access to them. Once again, thank you so much for helping me reach 200 subscribers. When I set out to make these videos, I wanted them to be a tool for collectors and enthusiasts alike to inspect a comic before either adding a similar one to their collection or referencing it with one they already have. So whether you've been with me from the start or you just discovered my channel, thank you so much for your support. There we go. All it took was a little persuasion and elbow grease. Now we're ready to dive in. Today we'll be continuing the adventures of the mighty Thor, and if you missed my deep dive coverage of his other issues, I'll link to them in the video description below. Now, with each book you can expect their conditions to vary. Today's issue is in fair condition, with both the front and back cover detached, along with some slightly brittle pages. This definitely shows its age, but there's nothing that affects the artwork or the story. Even though this can be viewed on your phone or computer, try casting it onto your TV so you can really see the detail and quality of the issue. If you enjoy these types of videos and want to see more content like it, check out some of my other deep dives. I've covered issues like Amazing Spider-Man number 101, Hawkman number 2, Detective Comics number 359, and Tales of Suspense number 55, featuring a classic showdown between Iron Man and the Mandarin. For a complete list of my videos, visit the organized playlists on my channel. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss another issue. Journey into Mystery number 90 was published in March of 1963. Editor-in-chief was Stan Lee. Cover artists were Jack Kirby, Dick Ayers, Stan Goldberg, and Artie Simek. There are 3 stories in this book. The Thor story, titled Trapped by the Carbon Copy Man, was written by Stan Lee and Larry Lieber, penciled by Al Hartley, and lettered by Szenics. The second story, titled The Midnight Caller, was written by Stan Lee, penciled and inked by Steve Ditko, and lettered by Artie Simek. The third story, titled I Am a Robot, was written by Stan Lee and Larry Lieber, penciled and inked by Joe Sinnott, and lettered by Szenics. The book consists of 32 pages with a cover price of 12 cents. Today's story begins on the warlike planet named Zarta. There we find Lord Ugarth and his son Zano preparing their invasion fleet to strike Earth. Back on Earth, we find Dr. Donald Blake as he thinks about revealing his true identity as Thor to Jane Foster, in the hopes of winning her love. But just as he's about to tell her, Odin contacts him telepathically and warns him not to. Donald then quickly leaves to make his rounds at the hospital. Outside, Blake sees a strange sight. Police are ordering pedestrians to walk in the street while drivers are allowed to drive on the sidewalk. Continuing down the street, he sees other strange things. such as a billboard being placed over apartment windows and the Brooklyn Bridge being painted with polka dots. Returning to his office, Blake receives a notice from the mayor telling him it's now illegal to treat charity patients for free. But when Jane agrees with this new law and calls Blake weak before rushing out of his office, he suspects something isn't quite right. Quickly changing into Thor, he flies to the mayor's office. But once there, the mayor orders him to be arrested, causing him to escape into the sky. After taking some time to think about what could be happening, Thor remembers what Odin taught him long ago. When something puzzles you, always seek the simplest, most obvious explanation, no matter how impossible it may seem. Thor then realizes that the only logical explanation is that everyone must be imposters. Thor begins searching the city and comes across an alien ship hidden from view. Now here's a short story titled Mystery Mansion. While its author is uncredited, it's continued later in the issue. Some of the advertising found within this issue is an ad from the Cadillac Publishing Company for their Made Simple self-teaching encyclopedias. There's a full-page ad for Norton Products Magic Art Reproducer. There's a half-page ad to learn any dance fast with giant foot charts for only $1. And near the back there's an ad for 104 King's Knights for only $1.49. After setting his hammer down, Thor searches for an opening in the ship. Suddenly he's struck by a magnetic bolt, freezing him in place. After the 60-second limit on his hammer runs out, Thor changes back into Donald Blake. There is an editor's note here. It seems if Mjolnir is out of Thor's hand for 60 seconds, he automatically changes back into Donald Blake. I'm glad they didn't include that in the MCU. Soon 2 Zartans discover him and take him aboard their ship. There he finds the real mayor and Jane Foster being held prisoner. Zano explains that Zartans are carbon copy men, able to duplicate anyone's appearance, and soon they'll take over the entire planet. So bargaining for his freedom, Blake offers to show them where Thor is. Once outside the ship, Blake distracts the aliens long enough to recover his hammer and change back into Thor. But when he goes to confront the Zartans, Zano changes into an ice monster and fights Thor. When Thor becomes frozen in a block of ice, he throws Mjolnir into the air, breaking the ice. Zano then changes into a giant gladiator and traps Thor under a net. But before Zano can strike Thor with his sword, Thor calls on a thunderbolt to strike Zano. Having finally defeated Zano, Thor must fight Lord Ugarth, and he proves to be extra difficult when he makes himself invisible. Thinking quickly, Thor summons a rainstorm which reveals Ugarth's location. Thor then traps Ugarth inside Zano's net, and with a powerful throw, sends him deep into space, prompting the Zartan fleet to leave chasing after their leader. Since the fleet left in such a hurry, a few Zartans got left behind, so Thor orders them to change into trees. When Jane asks Thor if he's worried that they'll just eventually run away, he reminds her that they gain the attributes of whatever they change into, so since trees don't think, they'll be trapped in that form forever. Our second story, titled The Midnight Caller, takes place behind the Iron Curtain. As an elderly couple walks home, they're stopped by a guard demanding to see their papers. When they finally reach their rundown home, they hear shots being fired in the distance, and it's a fugitive spy attempting to lose himself in the shadows. When night falls over the village, the elderly couple hears a knock at their door. Startled to find the fugitive standing in their doorway, they invite him in to stay the night, providing him shelter. Later that night, as all are asleep, a strange thing happens. Their home fades away into nothingness and reappears outside the Iron Curtain. With their home repaired and on the side of freedom, they ask the stranger how this was possible. He tells them he was just repaying their kindness with kindness. He then reveals himself to be an angel before quickly ascending into the heavens. And here is where the short story, titled Mystery Mansion, is continued. Our third and final story, titled I Am a Robot, begins in a laboratory where a scientist is testing his latest creation. The scientist explains that the robot must obey their command no matter what. That's why great care must be taken when issuing commands. Once the scientists have left for the night, a suspicious man drops down from the skylight into the open room. And after issuing a few commands to the robot lifts the wall to the room, allowing them both to leave. Soon they reach the bank, and the robot is commanded to hypnotize everyone. With everyone in a trance, the man commands the robot to freeze the door to the safe, then to break it down like glass. After filling up his suitcase with all the money in the safe, the man orders the robot to break a hole in the ground. Then quickly the two of them escape into the tunnel. Once at his secret hideout, the man orders the robot to stand guard and not to let anyone through the door. Once some time had passed, the man tries to leave, but since the robot was ordered not to let anyone through the door, the robot won't let him pass. And so the man created his own prison, with the robot standing guard forever. Once again, thank you so much for helping me reach 200 subscribers. I hope you enjoyed today's deep dive. If there's a particular issue or comic you'd like me to flip, drop it down in the comments section and I'll see if I can add it to my poll box. If you enjoy these types of videos, please show your support by subscribing to my channel. As always, please consider liking and feel free to share this video. And until next time, deep divers, thanks for watching.